D-Lo 404 back at you one more time. All right, so I was reading an article on ESPN.com that came to my phone, and the article was, started out talking about why the retaining mark breathing, which I just made a video about. Go check that video out if you haven't checked it out already. But in that same article, Dan Rafael talks about the success of the event. Doing around 800 to 850 to 900,000 pay-per-view buys, which, of course, Bob Arum said that's not including the digital buys, being like the digital, the apps, where people bought the pay-per-views on the apps and on the video games and things like that. But anyway, according to Arum, that's going to put them over 1.2, and once they tally all that. But that remains to be seen. But my whole point that I'm trying to make is that same 1.2 that Arum says that the fight should do, which would be monumental for today's pay-per-views, because we know that getting 400,000 or 500,000, is a big success. In today's pay-per-view climate, with all of the streaming and basically the fans being turned off from pay-per-view and so forth and so on. But for it to do 1.2, that is monumental, in my opinion. 800,000 to 900,000 is monumental in today's pay-per-view climate when it comes to boxing. But what got my attention was that same 1.2 that Aaron's talking about, Dan Rafael says, according to sources he did not name, that in order for this fight to break even, the break-even point was 1.2 million pay-per-view buys. Man, that's too much of a coincidence. And first of all, I'll say this. If you put on a pay-per-view event and your break-even point is 500,000, you probably shouldn't be putting on a pay-per-view event. Now, if your pay-per-view event has a break-even point of 1.2 million pay-per-view buys, there's no way in hell you should be putting on the event, because odds are stacked against you that you're going to exceed 1 million or that you're going to exceed 800,000 pay-per-view buys. This fight is one of those rare fights that captivated the casuals, made the diehards come off the hip as well, that had all this drama and intrigue because of what happened in the first fight. And then also just the two guys that are, basically, that gravitate, the fans gravitate toward. Like they're just like two polar guys, polar, I don't know the right term I'm trying to use. But anyway, two polarizing figures. That's what I was trying to say. So for, it was like kind of like lightning in a bottle type thing. Now, do I think the third fight could be just as big or even bigger? Yeah. But it could also stand a chance not to be as big or as successful. You just have to see. But I don't care what ESPN, Dan Rafael talking about at 1.2 million being the break-even point. If this fight done 800,000 pay-per-view buys, it was a huge success. And if that fight did over 1.2 million, over 1 million, however you want to say it, pay-per-view buys, it was an astronomical success for 2020. That being said, that's all I got to say on the topic. D-Lo 404 Boxing. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And y'all come over there to Marlowe's Corner, listen to Trey X call a frog out of well Saturday night. Call it the Michael Garcia versus Jesse Vargas fight, which I got Jesse Vargas, by the way. Shout out to the Block fam. Shout out to Trey X, Marlowe's Corner. Just everybody on the block that comes over there and supports Block fam during the fight. Shout out to the LDBC as well. I'm out. Peace.